To some men, having a father in their family might be something that is normal or ordinary, but peel back underneath the layers of how the fatherhood dynamic works, you will realize just how important a father's presence is to every son that is born into this world, with regards to his mindset, attitude, and mental well-being. With the current state of the world now ignorantly condemning and disregarding both masculinity and fatherhood, this video is my message to all current fathers and would-be fathers out there, and also for those who do not have a father or didn't get to experience the blessings of a solid father and son relationship. A father is the leader of the family. To us sons, he is someone whom we can rely on at times of distress, someone whom we look up to as a role model or an inspiration, someone whose wisdom and teachings are required and practiced, and someone whose actions and examples become the definitive benchmark in our own pursuit for success in life. It is in every father's full authority and responsibility to lead the family into more prosperous circumstances according to his own plans. It is a common misconception nowadays due to modern social constructs that fathers should put his wife or his children first before himself, because theoretically that way he will be more appreciated for his efforts and sacrifices. This is so far from the truth. A father should put himself first and bring his family along into his world in which he has full control over. A father should be the captain of the ship, the one who set the course and drive the ship, not to let his wife or his children navigate and take the wheel instead. Women want to be led, and your children will simply follow along. Putting your wife and your children first means you are abandoning your own world and entrusting them to lead the family, which is not what they both instinctually and intuitively want from you and for the family. That is why it is important that as fathers you must have a strong masculine frame, a strong foundation of your own world or space in every important aspect and circumstance of life, so that you will be confident in leading your family into a place where you have a high amount of confidence in. A masculine frame is simply like your own kingdom, where every necessary and important aspect of life that are in your control are tailored to your own personal preference. A strong, dominant, and authoritative frame will lay the crucial foundations of how your son will take examples out of you and evolve his own masculinity as he grows up. When we are still kids, our minds are still not fully developed for critical and abstract thinking, and the only way we could learn is through pure observation, sensation, and mimicking. So it is stupid to try and ask and guess what we like, because we will like just about anything we get our hands on. This is the formative phase, so utilize this early phase of your son's life to introduce him to your own masculine world, your hobbies, passions, work, and interests. Take us fishing along with you. Take us to watch you practice wrestling. Take us to the garage and watch you mend the car. Even take us to the gym to watch you exercise and lift some weights. This will establish the first stage of the father and son bond. As we watch you perform all those endeavors, we will eventually get curious and try to understand through copying and mimicking you. When this happens, be happy for us. Get excited for us, encourage us, and keep on inviting us, even if we absolutely suck at them, because your approval can make or break our spirit at this phase all the way until we are teenagers. This will make us feel more involved in the collective male space and eventually develop the sense of male tribalism. And who knows, maybe you can notice our talents and inclinations early on as well. As we move on to our teenage years or the learning phase, the connection and bond that we've developed with you throughout those formative years of our youth will strengthen itself and will make us feel even closer to you, now that our minds are more capable of making judgments and critical thinking. As teenagers, we will be more exposed to the outside world and social interactions, and we will most likely be curious about them. And as we all know, the teenage years will be the most troublesome years for all of us. As our hormones are boiling and we become more aware and responsive to our own set of emotions, we will most likely cause some trouble and make a lot of stupid mistakes along the way due to our impulses. Most commonly with regards to school, actions, attitudes, emotions, friends, and girls. And also, as teenagers, whatever you try and tell us will most of the time be ignored. We are notoriously rebellious, so don't try so hard to educate us, discourage us, and prevent us from doing the things that we want to do unless our safety and well-being is absolutely threatened. Because we will always rebel against you and lie a lot to you to get what we want. What fathers should do instead is, let us face the rewards and consequences of our actions ourselves. ourselves. Let us learn by ourselves. And as I've mentioned before, when we do eventually experience defeat and consequences, it will always raise questions need answering. And when we come to you for answers, that is the perfect time to further educate us objectively and truthfully. That way, we will be more receptive and attentive to you and will more likely to embed your teachings into our minds, further solidifying our relationship and our trust with you. When we enter our adult years, this is the individual phase. This is where we will face real world and life problems and become much more related or even directly related to you, depending on whether we decide to follow in your footsteps or if we decide to spread our own wings. This is when most men will realize how important it is to have a good father and mentor in their lives. This is where your wisdom is very much required and needed by us with regards to career choices, purpose, women, and many more important aspects of life. This is also the stage where we will start to properly experience genuine mental health problems. Always make sure that you keep up with the ever so changing world that we live in so that you will have a better clue of what we are going through and the reasons behind them. Because the more you can relate and understand our problems, the more we can trust you and open up to you about them. So observe what we are doing, get to know about them, and maintain your presence around us so the bond that we've developed over the years won't get strained too far. This is also the phase where you need to directly emphasize to us the importance of having a purpose and a clear direction in life as a man. To tell us the further truth of how the real world operates, about the current social constructs that punish masculinity, about people, and about women, no matter how emotionally painful they are to us. To tell us to not be afraid to try a lot of things that make us curious, take risks, and experience failures, because the greatest regret comes from taking no risks at all. To tell us to develop our own values and become the man we desire to be. To tell us to stop waiting and start taking actions because life does not owe us anything and fairy tales do not exist. To tell us that our own lives are our own authority and responsibility to take care of and that no one should ever have power over them and take control of them. To tell us that pain and suffering is the necessary step in order to eventually achieve success. To tell us to be wary of our emotions and learn to harness them and utilize them instead of letting them go out of control. And to tell us that as a man, ultimately we must be strong, capable, decisive, and in control. For some of us, it might sound like simple words, but for those who didn't get to have a father and those who experienced the dire consequences of an absent father in their family, words like that are powerful and unheard of. Because the main reason of why we desperately need a close father figure or a mentor in our lives, and the main reason why we are so depressed, lonely, angry, resentful, and suicidal is because we simply do not know what to do. We desperately need answers and we desperately seek for guidance in life as a man because we are so lost and clueless in this world. It is unfortunate for a lot of us gentlemen who didn't get to experience what it's like to have a good father, and yes, that includes me. But our only objective and realistic choice right now is to learn things the hard way and to look for distant mentors to help us answer all of our questions. These are, unfortunately, the cards that we've been dealt with and the game that we have to play. So learn the game and play it well to win it. It is our only choice. And once again, for current fathers and would-be fathers watching, be there for your son. Your presence is powerful and it will impact his mindset and well-being more than you can fathom. With the current ignorant world moving against masculinity, it is needed more than ever. So stand your ground with regards to your way of fatherhood, of being a masculine and an authoritative figure in the family. Because your son's perception of masculinity will eventually be exemplified by you. The brutal truth of today is that as a man, we are much less appreciated for our efforts and sacrifices, and it is the same case of being a father. To protect and provide is already expected from you, so in order for you to be truly respected and appreciated, you have to be able to make your family prosper in both extrinsic and intrinsic circumstances. And the only way you can do that is to be the masculine dominant figure that your wife and children intuitively want you to be. Thank you for watching.